Wow. Like, oh,
Sorry, what? I got carried away.
The Magic Man originally started 12 years ago in the city of Melbourne, Australia. That's where we originally started the show. I guess originally when it started, it was myself and a couple of the guys from Melbourne. And we wanted to start a small show that basically just catered towards the hens parties and girls' night outs that we're celebrating at the time. The industry received a massive boom from the hit movie Magic Mike, which just saw our brand skyrocket. And the next minute, we had to find a bigger venue. And then after that, we had to expand to Melbourne, Sydney, to Brisbane, to Gold Coast. And now there's 130 of us across Australia. The way I got into this industry was I graduated from my bachelor's and I got a job as an accountant and I took a gap year. And during my gap year, I was newly single. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life, which is become an accountant. And I just wanted to, I guess, travel, meet some girls, and make some quick money to get through that year. So I naturally fell into stripping, and I loved it. I loved traveling around the world. I loved traveling around Australia. And when the year finished and had to return to normal work, I didn't want to give it up. So I would be an accountant during the week, and I'd be a stripper on my weekend.
oh wow. Oh wow, that's a very interesting story. What about you, Will? You have a similar story?
No, not really similar. I definitely didn't do any accounting, that's for sure. But no, I'm originally from England. So I grew up in England and then I came to Australia about 11 years ago. And I was just backpacking, traveling around Australia, doing lots of like odd jobs. And then stumbled into Magic Men one night on a night out. Bumped into a club promoter who kept saying that I looked like Channing Tatum. And then
Yes, you do.
and then the company had just started Magic Men. And I was still in that kind of like traveling mode, backpacker mode. I thought I was going to go back to England within a few months. So I was just like, why not? I'll give it a try and see what happens. And then yeah, and then it just went from there. But that's how I originally got into it. I just stumbled across it. Like I wasn't trying to look for that kind of job. I didn't think I would end up still doing it 10 years later. But yeah, that's how I stumbled into it basically.
Yeah, so my story isn't quite the same as theirs. I guess, I was once upon a time, I was just a skinny lad and I had a friend who was quite muscular and he got into the industry first, but I was in a relationship. The girlfriend I had at the time was like, absolutely no way. So when we broke up, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I went straight to my friend's place and I'm like, I want to do what you do. It looks fun. It just looks like a lot of fun. And I basically begged him. I kept asking him every week. I was at his house just asking him to teach me something. And eventually he gave in and started teaching me how to dance. So we started putting together a routine. And that's the routine that I do today with Magic Man. And it's going great. Although I do have a new routine in the works. But yeah, basically that's how I got into it. And I just hung out with my friend for a long time. And then I joined a group for a while. And then I joined Magic Man.
I didn't expect it to be as big as it could be. Um, all we knew back then was it was initially started as a bit of a love project with just 6 to 8 of the performers who wanted to get together and put on a show that they were all passionate about. When we started the initial Magic Men group, it was a bunch of guys who were just I guess they were at the peak of their own careers. And so we knew that we did have a great product, but we just didn't realize that it would take off in that way.
I think that what kind of makes the show a little bit different at Magic Men is just the amount of crowd interaction that there is. Like normally when you go to a theater show or you go and watch any kind of show, you're normally just not really involved in that show and you're just watching it from a distance. Whereas Magic Men, it's definitely one of the most crowd interactive shows you can go to. So we get audience members up on stage. It's a safe place for everyone to come and just have a good time. And even people come to our show like by themselves, not always necessarily in groups, because they know it's just one of those vibes where you can meet new people, interact with all the boys, meet the boys, have fun, and just have a good night out.
That's the Jeff question.
Ah, I could have guessed you're going to pick me for this one. Well, there is going to be a lot of crowd interaction. So if anyone is going to come to the show, make sure they are feeling a little bit brave because there is a lot of crowd interaction. And it's not just girls going on stage, it's us going into the crowd as well. So that's just be prepared for that one. Oh, that's sort of suspect a little.
A big part of our night and what we want to sell to you guys when you come to attend a show, if you've never been, is it's actually not a celebration of the Magic Men, but it's actually a celebration of us for you guys. It's a celebration of the audience that come to us. We want to create an environment which you guys feel like you can let your hair down, express yourself, get drunk, let your inhibitions run wild, let your imaginations be creative, and have a laugh and giggle with us. So my advice to everyone who's not been to a show, maybe start the night with a couple of drinks, have no expectations, and just come with a good mindset, ready to scream, shout, and just let your inner child run wild, because we will take care of the rest. We'll create an environment that's safe, and we'll make sure that everyone feels involved. We're all inclusive, so it doesn't matter whether you're young, you're old, the color of your skin, your sexuality. As long as you're there to celebrate yourselves, we're here to help support that.
It's advertised almost, or like it's our slogan is like we're Australia's biggest ladies' night, but that's just the slogan. But obviously, guys and everyone can come to our show, and not only that, we get guys up on stage, we get everybody up on stage. So like anyone who comes to our show is just a part of the vibe, a part of the atmosphere. So everybody is welcome at our show. Absolutely.
Yeah, we want to promote the LGBT community. We want to celebrate love, and we want to support everyone out there in the community. So when we do have members that come, and it's not even Bernie just to the LGBT community, but we actually get a lot of people from, I guess, disability backgrounds that attend our shows. Actually, funny enough, I didn't tell, neither of you would know this, but at Magic Band last weekend, there was a blind person, the first blind person I've ever seen come to Magic Man, and she sat in the front row, and I was hosting that night, and I had to make sure that I knew she couldn't experience the sense of sight to enjoy that show. So it was a challenge for me, because for the first time I had to think, how can I make sure she felt inclusive when she couldn't see the show? And a big part of the show is seeing the men naked. So we had to make efforts going around checking with her, making sure she could touch the guys, she could hear the guys, that we were talking to her and checking up on her throughout the evening, and that she could still, experience the show through other senses. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what background or your disability or what nature. We will always make an effort if you feel that you can come to our show and accept us for what we do.
Yeah, we do. We do kind of do our research a little bit before we go, but we also kind of enjoy the fact that when we do go to new places, we get to learn while we're there. Like, it's kind of fun to learn as we go. Like, we just came back from South America, and everyone there just wanted to like get us involved in the culture there. And I'm sure it'll be the same in the Philippines. And it's always fun to learn about the culture, like while we're there in the moment. So I'm excited to be there. It's going to be fun. We've already got a lot of the guys are already doing brand new routines. So there's obviously a lot of people would have seen our social media, and they might feel like they already know our routines. There's definitely going to be a lot more tricks and a lot more surprises that you haven't seen on social media that we're going to save just for the Philippines. And then also we are going to try and include like local songs or Filipino songs that are meaningful to you. We'll try and include them in our show as well. So definitely going to be a few surprises for everybody in the Philippines that they haven't seen from the Magic Men.
Well, I don't know the names of any like Philippine dishes. I don't have a good memory when it comes to those things.
I got told about something called Esau, I think it's called. Esau, is that right?
Miso, yeah. That's
Yeah,
chicken intestines.
Chicken
chicken
intestines.
intestines.
Yeah.
Ooh,
There we
You
go.
should
Will's
try it.
favorite.
can't
He loves,
wait.
he
Any,
loves intestines.
Really.
any body part, I'm happy to try it.
Any intestine, any animal, he's willing to try.
It's always one of those
And
questions that we always get on social media is, are the ladies staged or are they part of the show? But every single girl that is picked on the night from the crowd, and they're from the live audience. So there's going to be a lot of ladies that are going to be up on stage from the Philippines that they won't know what's going to happen. But
No, I'm not in a relationship at the moment, but I have been through a few short-term relationships in my
Yeah.
time. It does make things tough. I think that it definitely makes long-term relationships more tough. Obviously, a lot of women can feel insecure in certain things and certain aspects about the job. In my past relationship, I tried to put a lot of effort into overlaying these issues, which did make the relationship go really well. But eventually, it did take its toll. So I say yes, the job can make it difficult, but it doesn't make it impossible. There are a lot of guys who are part of Magic Men and they are in really good relationships. Some of the guys are even married and going really strong because they have this understanding, obviously, with their partner. But yeah, I guess it is tough, but not impossible, is what I'm saying.
yeah, relationships is always it's always a funny one. I always say this industry, you'll meet as many women as you want to meet, but when it comes to a relationship, obviously it does also doesn't work in your favor all the time. And yeah, like Jeff said, it makes the long-term relationships definitely a lot harder. But yeah, as long as you have an understanding, you could make it work. Definitely, like some of the guys are in amazing relationships. They've been together for years and they still do the show, and they just keep the two separate. So yeah, it depends how you work it, I guess.
I think relationships are hard in general for any relationship to be in long term. I think communication is the key. And you know, whether you are an accountant or a male stripper, I don't think being in a long-term relationship is any easier, because it's the communication that is what makes a relationship work. I think what makes our job hard, not even so much the fact that we're surrounded by women, but it's the traveling. It's the fact that we're not in the same town, same city, and we're always moving around. That means that we miss out on a lot of key life events, and we sacrifice a lot of our personal lives. And I think it's more so the traveling that makes a long-term relationship hard for us.
Biggest misconception about our industry? Well, a lot of people, a lot of women think that we're all going to be sleazebags that just want to have sex and don't do anything. But most of the guys like are not actually sleazebags. Most of the guys are very. We try our best not to be. In fact, a lot of guys purposely put effort into avoiding that image. So after the shows, all the guys are willing to hang out and take photos with the girls and have a chat with them. And that's what made our tour, especially their tour across Canada. A lot of good feedback we got was about how we interacted with them after the show, because we hung out for most shows we hung out for about an hour after the show having a chat because there was just so many people there and we were so grateful for having such a big crowd. Yeah. So I just kind of trailed off there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception probably, there's so many misconceptions about our
I
industry.
think especially with like how our social media is, and a lot of the guys just post content from the stage show or like them topless. So that a big misconception can be that they're arrogant or up themselves. But a lot of girls are actually shocked that come to our show. Girls and guys are shocked when they come to our show at how humble we are and how much we actually just appreciate everyone being there. So that's why we spend the extra time taking photos. And some shows we literally take a photo with every single person in that crowd. So probably most of our shows we do. So yeah, we just that's definitely a misconception.
a lot of the guys actually pull up the guys if we feel like they're being a sleazebag. Like if we've been on tour and we have one of the guys who act in a certain way, a lot of the guys will actually speak to them and say, "Hey man, we got to just try and cool it. If you're feeling this way, just take a breather, get some fresh air, stay away from the girls if they're getting on your nerves, you know." So we have management even when it comes to these things as well, and I think that's what makes the team solid.
Or members of the
Yes,
Every show,
absolutely.
every single show, every
Um,
single show.
Yeah, there's a
Alright.
lot. Yeah. You have to look through a few more videos because there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of videos of us dancing on guys in there as well too. So 100%. It's sometimes almost actually funny because the guys sitting in the crowd end up getting more attention than some of the girls do.
Yeah.
That's actually the way it works. So 100%, if you're coming to the show, you're definitely going to get a lot of attention.
I think that's my biggest misconception is that it's a women's only sort of show,
Yeah.
because every single Magic Man show, when there's a guy, we actually purposely will
Bring them on stage,
we'll prioritize the guy because we know that it's going to make everyone feel comfortable. You know, when that guy goes on stage, the whole crowd will cheer, enjoy, and laughter, and actually kickstart our night even more. So if anything, we encourage it. So yeah, that would be a misconception, but I'm surprised you haven't seen it on social media because those videos go off the most as well.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially when we go on tour, it's definitely hard to keep the diet in check. But obviously, because we're all together and we're all on the same wavelength and all of us have got a similar kind of diet, we kind of stick to that diet. But don't worry, we definitely all have a cheat day as well, especially on a Sunday, Monday. If we're hungover, we definitely have normal food, normal cheat days as well. It's not all just training and dieting, but yeah, there is definitely a lot of that goes into the show as well. It's all part of the job.
Any message to Filipino fan?
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to come and put on an amazing show for you. So mine and Carlos's first time in the Philippines, along with the other boys as well. Anything that you want to show us or bring us to the show that's part of your culture, we're more than happy to be a part of it, and we want to experience as much as possible. So yeah, we're so excited and we're so glad that Philippines is like kickstarting our world tour. Couldn't think of a better place to go to start our tour. And yeah, we can't wait to meet you all.
I can't wait personally to meet all the Filipinos, to learn everything about your language, your culture, your food, to bring a little bit of Australia to you guys. The Magic Man show has been so successful here. We cannot wait to see how you will respond, and hopefully you'll welcome us with your open arms. I think you're in for a night of laughter, and we cannot wait to bring out the inner child in you. So not long now till the show begins.
My message to the Philippines. Well, I know myself and a lot of the guys are really excited to give our 100%. But in order for us to give our 100% show, we need 100% back from the audience. So my message is I want all the girls to make sure that they're feeling like brave, confident. They know that they're going to get a thrill of a lifetime. It's, you know what I mean? So that's my message to the Philippines. Come out with, make sure you got your stripper spirits ready. If you want the full experience, you got to have the full bravery. When we pull you up on stage and we ask you to cooperate, we say, okay, now's the time for the cool stuff, the flip, the tricks, all that stuff. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be thrilling, but it's also going to be nerve-wracking for the Philippine women. So be prepared for that.
Oh,
Are we going to do it at the same time?
Me. All right.
there you go.
Everybody's joining.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, look at that.
Wow.
I had to drink water.
That's more than a sampler.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being such a good sport. Oh.
Oh,
Jeff.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. What? I got carried away.